Yeah. So the word sus, I guess I've never played Among Us either, but sus comes from this game where you're supposed to figure out who's the bad guy or whatever. You play it
Yeah.
with like 8 people or something like that,
Okay.
and then if they're acting suspicious, you call them sus, which is why
Mm.
everyone's using that word now.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know, so
I was just got done berating Delaney because
yeah.
she was using the word sus, and I told her that the Among Us game is it seems kind of dumb to me, but
And I was like, I don't even know what that is, dude. So, like,
welcome
I've just
back.
always used sus.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Weekly Narrative Late Night Edition. Tonight, Delaney, my co-host, and I, Jeremy from the Weekly Narrative, we're going to be talking to you guys about non-election related news.
Yeah.
How fun and interesting is that?
I think it's far more interesting because what's going on with elections is stupid. So let's take a break from that. Like, we all cast our votes. We'll see what happens in the next few months because the inauguration isn't until January.
Well,
so.
the reason we're deciding to do this is because there is no election news.
Yeah.
Okay, it's
really
gonna be a while before we know anything, and there's just nothing interesting to say really. It's kind of I was telling Delaney that with the election stuff right now, it's basically like listening to sports commentary.
Yeah, a little bit.
You can watch your particular news channel, and whoever you listen to is going to say, "Well, if this happens, if this guy catches the ball and this guy throws the ball to this guy in the end zone and he catches it, it's going to be a touchdown."
Yeah.
Like, oh,
All he has to do is that. All he has to do
wow,
is this.
Okay, yeah,
All
great.
this candidate has to do is get this
Don't care.
state, and it's like, I don't care.
Don't care. Not
Doesn't
interested.
matter. Not interesting.
Yeah, I'm not addicted to the anxiety porn of watching every single little step of the thing that happens. You know, every tiny little new development happens. Like, oh, the Supreme Court just mandated that the mail-in ballots be segregated in Pennsylvania. Whatever, just tell me when it's done.
Yeah, just tell me when it's done. Who won? Like, through and through, clean. Like, who really won? Because I don't care. I mean, either way, I'll be fine. Tomorrow's gonna be another day. Day after inauguration, when it's a peaceful transfer of power, as it should be. I'll still be the same person. It'll still be the same world.
We got David Silva in chat. He says first, man, he got in here fast.
Yeah, Dave's
Come on
in
in,
there
everybody.
with us.
Come on in, fill in. We're going to talk about some
Fill up
interesting
the
things.
arena.
Going to talk about some interesting things you may not have heard of because we were all distracted by election news. But believe it or not, the world still does turn. Things still do happen outside of the election.
Yeah,
And
the rest of the world moves on. It's a distraction, and while this election goes on, we have all some interesting things to talk about. You know, science and just if you want to get geopolitical, we got some news on that as well. So
we got two Daves in the chat.
two Daves.
Something about Dave that makes him really highly initiative
We
taking.
love Daves.
Yeah, we
and
do.
Davids. They're great. They're great folk. I do. I appreciate Davids. It's a good name.
Before we get into the news, how are you holding up with all this stuff? We're not going to talk about the election, but I'm curious about how you're doing.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
I'm good. I mean, I did some manual labor today, so I'm a little sore.
it's always good and work with your hands.
Yeah, my dad asked me to go in and cut down oleander trees in his backyard, and so the men got to use the chainsaw, and I was loading up the trailer and stomping on the sticks and
Nice.
stuff. So it's always good, and good for the soul to do some hard labor and do some actual back-breaking stuff or potentially life-threatening
Absolutely.
stuff.
That's why you
So-
gotta get into the gym, put your body through some stress.
Yeah. It's what I want to do. A lot of different stuff in my personal life, but that's okay. Well, it's not bad stuff. It's good stuff, positive stuff. Good people coming into my life. So that's
There you
always
go.
that's always a plus.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Especially during this time when everybody's so stressed about this and that and things they have no control over.
And isolated.
And isolated too. It's nice to finally get somebody else in the regular mix of people.
Expand your friend group.
Expand
Yeah.
the friend group a little bit and meet people of different backgrounds and different mindsets from you. So it's interesting to do.
Sounds like you're doing pretty well then.
Oh yeah.
I got some terrible news yesterday.
Oh no.
Yeah, turns out the gyms might be closing again on Tuesday.
What? Oh no.
California is in a red zone right now, but there's certain requirements for the bars and the gyms and everything to stay open. So if you're in California, better get to the bars this weekend because they might be shutting down on Tuesday or Wednesday again.
Of course.
So we're at I don't know what the specific statistic is, but you have to be under 7% of new growth rate for coronavirus cases, something like that. We've been at 7.4 for like a week.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, that's gonna be awful.
So we're just having like a spike in cases, like left and right, I guess, again. So we're gonna have to shut down everything again.
Again.
That's not nice, and that's not fair. People have been working out at home for months. They need to go to the gym. Or some people don't have the ability to work out at home.
I got to get some gear at home.
Yeah.
It's the only option.
I mean, the people who've been doing it from home, like a friend of mine, she works out from home now, and she's like, well, once it gets like cold outside, I'll stop working out outside and probably go into the gym.
It's getting cold now too.
Exactly. So that's why I'm like, why are they shutting everything down? It's getting cold outside. It's not like cold during the day.
I didn't think about that actually. Now that we're getting into the cold months, everything has to be outside. Nobody's going to want to go outside, so we're going to be even more isolated than we were.
Yeah.
When stuff was open, but you can still do it
winter.
outside. Yes, the dark winter.
The dark winter.
Dark winter is
That's what
upon
he was
us.
talking about.
All
Just
right.
in California.
Let's jump into the news. Let's go to our international correspondent,
Jeremy,
to go over some interesting news from Germany. So,
okay.
Germany erupts in protests. Thousands hit streets to demand Merkel quits over new lockdown. I don't know if you guys have seen what's going on over in Germany, but the pictures and the videos are pretty insane, actually. There's thousands of people out there protesting the new lockdowns based on the coronavirus stuff. So they're in a situation where they're seeing the numbers start to increase. They're still okay right now, but they're doing like the California thing where they're like, well, the number we're going to be bad in a couple weeks, so you have to lock everything down.
So we got to lock everything back down. And so the Germans are fed up. They ain't taking no crap. Good on you, Germany. Good on you.
They're having a more anti-coronavirus response than we are. Like, we have little sparse protests here and there, but they have thousands of people storming the streets, demanding that they get rid of the lockdowns.
I mean, yeah, it's good. Like I said, good for them. That's I wish more Americans would do that. I would love to go to anti-corona lockdown events here in Sacramento, but there's not very many, and if there are, they're pretty damn big. Like, I went to one and it was gigantic. There was thousands of people. We were like all not social distancing, so most people weren't wearing masks. I brought a mask just in case, but it was a MAGA mask, so I was like, I feel at home. Like, this is great.
Yeah, it's pretty. So the interesting thing would be to look at if there is political lines over there like there is here with the coronavirus stuff, because here all the anti-coronavirus lockdown people tend to be like Trump conservative Republicans,
That's hella funny.
From the express.co.uk, huge crowds took to the streets in Leipzig for the protest against coronavirus curbs. Demonstrators threw firecrackers as they clashed with police in chaotic scenes. German journalist Martin Hellner warned police had lost control of the rally.
Oh no!
So we're talking like Antifa style. Imagine Antifa, but they're protesting.
Conservative.
But they're
they're like conservative leaning,
Exactly.
and they want small government and don't want
saying.
lockdowns.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what they got in
hardcore
Germany.
over there.
Poor things. Like, and then their poor police. I think Germany is kind of the same as most of Europe, where the police like don't really intercede in a lot of shit or a lot of stuff. Like, it's weird. It's weird what they got going over in a lot of European countries.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that Europe might be a little more based than I thought, because
the people of Europe, the governments know.
No, the people,
the people of Europe are pretty
pissed.
based, but the government is so stupid. Like, and they're waking up. Oh, we got Stalking Horse in the chat saying, "I'm not Dave."
What's up, Stalking Horse?
What's
Welcome
up, Stalking
to the chat,
Horse?
buddy.
We love you too, even though I don't know your real name.
I saw him in Scott Adams' chat earlier today.
Oh yeah.
Got a little run across him. Yeah. Scott Adams talks about a lot about kind of from the perspective of the conservative, what's going to happen with the election. He predicted a lot of pro-Trump things that didn't happen, so it's interesting to see how he's handling the whole thing.
Like, where did this protest take place?
Leipzig.
Stalking Horse, isn't that an Antifa stronghold?
Probably.
I mean, isn't all of Germany an Antifa stronghold?
They had big Brexit, I think, protests in Leipzig as well, back when that was going through.
They probably don't want to be a part of the European Union anymore either, because the European Union just bleeds all the countries out of money for nothing.
The Germans are just pissed, regardless, on both sides.
Yeah, I mean, they should be.
Continuing on from the express.co.uk, the protest comes after Germany entered a 4-week partial lockdown on Monday in a bid to combat surging coronavirus cases. Restaurants, bars, gyms, and theaters have been shut under the measures. Schools and shops remain open. Angela Merkel said, "We need to take action now. Our health system can cope with this challenge today, but at the speed of the infections, it will reach the limits of its capacity within weeks."
Just let them get coronavirus. Angela Merkel, whatever her name is. Just let them get coronavirus. It's fine.
Are you on this? You're on like the herd immunity side? Like, just let everybody get it.
Let everybody get it.
Get it over with.
Get it over with, and then the strongest shall survive. Like, sorry, like... It just happens.
Well, that's how it would happen in a natural environment,
But we're not living
without all
it.
the fake structures of society in place to hold everything up.
I've been doing the lockdown thing for a few months, and then I've been to protests. We filmed for the Women's March, and we were like walking in a group of people. We were the only ones not wearing a mask, and I'm fine. I haven't gotten anything.
I think I had it for 2 days and then I got over it.
I've known people that have gotten it and hung out with them, and I haven't gotten it yet, so it's not as bad as like they're making it out to be.
We said we wouldn't talk about the election, but with all the celebrations happening today,
how many people are going to get infected?
I don't know if you've seen the pictures of how many people are celebrating in D.C., but
I know.
Apparently coronavirus is over now.
Yeah, that's what they said about coronavirus months ago. They're like, it's gonna be over with after November 3rd. Watch.
Yeah, no, I mean for months and months they were talking about every little single thing Trump did was a super spreader event. Now there's 10,000 people in D.C. all jammed up. No, totally cool.
When it's a Democrat thing, it's not a super spreader, but when it's a Republic thing, it's a super spreader. It's a super spreader.
COVID's over. That's good news.
Yeah, I mean that's good news. Like I'm not mad about it.
In America, anyway.
Not in the rest of the world.
Let's go to our science correspondent,
Delaney,
to read the headline of our science article here.
Okay, so we have what website is this?
ScienceAlert.com.
Science Alert?
Science Alert.
Science Alert.
Science Alert sounds funnier, though.
But Science Alert, it says 9,000-year-old grave of a female hunter in Peru shows women tackled big game too. Cool. I mean,
I thought this was funny.
That's awesome.
This is like a half comedy.
It is half comedy. I'm laughing too.
This is from UC Davis.
Oh, okay.
A school just a little bit over there.
It's 15 minutes from here.
Some people, yeah. So, continuing on from ScienceAlert.com.
It says, silently moving in the wilderness of the Andes Mountain, ancient hunter-gatherers stalked the herd of vicuña. The hunters threw stone projectile stones with ease, hitting some of the beasts and leading the rest to scatter. It's just the way that they write it. It's just so...
They try to dramatize it. The vicuñas, wild ancestors of the alpacas, fell.
Yeah, they just are hyping it up to be like this great thing.
They're hyping it up for a reason.
Because women have been so oppressed that it's proof that they're not oppressed.
Wait for it. The skilled hunters, both females and males, went to examine their wins. The somewhat hypothetical account is in stark contrast to the accepted history of such hunter-gatherers. Ancient men hunted big game while women gathered herbs and plants. You could see where this is going. But a recently discovered 9,000-year-old burial of a female hunter and analyses of other hunter burials suggest that early hunter-gatherer women in the ancient Americas hunted big game just as much as men did.
Yep.
According to a study published on November 4th in the Journal of Science Advances.
We knew this, though. That's the thing. Like, women are, like, even back then, they were allowed to hunt. It's just very few women did want to hunt.
I don't understand. Well, obviously, the people at University of California, Davis, got their hands on it, so we know what kind of spin they were going to put on it,
it's going to be like woman power. Like, yeah. Like, even, it's like, yes, I agree, woman power, but, like, this is not a mystery that's been solved. We knew women are capable of being hunter-gatherers and taking down big game. Like, some of the best hunters are females nowadays.
Well, listen to this. The findings sort of underscore the idea that gender roles that we take for granted in society today, or that many take for granted, may not be as natural as some may have thought, said lead author Randy Haas, an assistant professor of anthropology at UC Davis.
Oh my goodness.
I bet Randy is probably a male feminist too.
Probably, yeah. It's like, dude, we've known
So,
that women can hunt. It's
when I was looking for articles that were interesting, science related, technology, all that kind of stuff, I went to the AP and I found those other kind of stories. All these stories that I found ended up having undertones of feminism,
Yep.
like climate change. Everything has a narrative underneath it. Like, why can't we just discover a female skeleton with a spear?
Yeah.
Why do we have to
like assign all of these things to
they
it.
have to assign their narratives to it, like, oh, this was Lucy and she was a she was a feminist.
Yeah, she was a total feminist.
She was stronger
The
than
strongest
the men.
feminist of her
She
day.
was stronger than the cavemen. So she wanted to prove that
She could tackle big game.
she could earn $1 for every dollar the men made, or 1 pound of meat for every 1 pound of meat that the cavemen made.
She wanted to contribute, just like the men did, and just took down the big game.
Why? Oh my!
No, tell me about it. Like, this is this kind of shit that I was like raised with growing up here in California, where everything just had like a feminist undertone. Everything just like, it's just like a false just yay. It's like, yeah. Look at this. This is great. This is proof that women are just as capable as men. And logical people are over here just like, yeah. I know real life people that do this kind of stuff. Like, we don't, it doesn't take a 9,000-year-old dead body to...
It's almost like they're the ones who are kind of persisting with that narrative.
Yes.
Like, oh, you think women can't do this? Well, look
No.
at this. Well, no, we never said they can't.
Nobody said that women can't do shit. It's just, you don't see many women flocking to do it. That's the thing. Women aren't like, you don't see like armies of women like leading the charge and like wanting to fight on the front lines. Like, I mean, I'm sure there are, but you don't see it like that. Of course, there are women that can hunt and do all that stuff, and that's great. Love it. Like, let's do it. But like, it's just the way that they just score it. It just doesn't resonate. It doesn't prove anything that we don't already know, and they're trying to hype it up that it's this great discovery.
Randy was just trying to Randy was trying to get in with his female colleagues.
Yeah, he's trying to get in with his female colleagues because he knows that that's the only way he can.
In 2018, the researchers discovered 6 human burials at Wilmaya Pakta. Don't know how to pronounce that. 2 of the 6 burials also contained hunting tools, but one was particularly interesting. In the 6th burial, dating back around 9,000 years, so we're talking like before the Egyptians, pretty long time ago, we started to uncover this really rich artifact assemblage, including a hunting toolkit with projectile points and flakes. Randy told Live Science. The burial is thought to belong to a hunter-gatherer who, based on the examination of tooth development, died between the ages of 17 and 19. So young, very young. What if she was just on her own and she tried to, like, she picked up a spear one day and to try and find some food?
Right. And then just, what if she ran away from being
ran away, you know,
being like enslaved from
that's why
something.
This stuff is so funny.
Yeah, it's hilarious. They don't know
no idea what actually happened, but they're like,
this is what we assume.
She was a feminist icon in the day. And
she's only 17 to 19, so she didn't really have much time to make a great influence on her, an impact on her society. Oh my goodness.
If you guys are just joining the chat, we're doing non-election news. We found a bunch of interesting stuff that was written about in the last week or two that you may have missed because, honestly, the election stuff's kind of boring at this point.
Yeah, it's boring, so we might as well catch up and like talk about other things because there's so much other things that we could talk about.
Plenty of time to talk about the election stuff once actual developments happen.
Once we actually have some cool stuff to like know about that.
One story that actually cut through all the noise during this was literally and figuratively was regarding a radio burst detected in our galaxy. So I don't know about you guys, but anytime I hear stuff in news about, you know, when we get radio bursts or strange signals from different galaxies, I'm like, oh, all right.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Finally, some cool stuff.
It's like, where is this coming from?
Yeah, so initially they didn't know what this came from, but according to ScienceAlert.com again, powerful radio signal detected in our galaxy is officially a fast radio burst.
Okay.
So there was memes going around on Twitter when this first came out, like after the election was starting to go down. This came on Twitter and they're like, radio waves discovered, potential signals, we don't know what they're coming from.
Oh gosh.
And everyone was like, oh great, 2020 strikes again.
Yeah, 2020 strikes again.
Now what? But turns out that it's just a harmless, well, not harmless, but
not harmless,
a magnetar.
Yeah.
Kelly McNamara writes for Science Alert Astrophysicists have detected a burst of cosmic radio waves within our galaxy for the first time. Within our galaxy, okay? Usually these come from outside the galaxy. According to research published Wednesday, this sheds new light on one of the mysteries of the universe.
Okay.
The origin of these FRB, fast radio bursts,
Okay.
intense flashes of radio emissions that only last a few milliseconds, has puzzled scientists since they were first detected a little over a decade ago.
That's cool.
They emit more energy in 1 millisecond than our sun emits in a month.
Wow. That's
Pretty intense.
That's pretty cool. Like,
Multiple-
not gonna lie.
Multiple telescopes detected a bright FRB from the same area within our Milky Way as a previous signal that came in April 28th this year. They were able to pin down the source, a galactic magnetar.
That's
Do you know what a magnetar is?
no, I don't. Please explain.
Pretty badass, actually.
It sounds
It's
badass.
a young neutron star that are the
Okay.
most magnetic objects in the universe.
Okay.
And
That's cool.
they've been the prime suspect of these radio bursts for a long time.
That's pretty.
This is the
damn
first
cool.
time that scientists have ever been able to actually link one back to a magnetar.
Oh,
So when a,
good for them.
when a star explodes, it can be like a supernova or like a white dwarf or whatever. A magnetar is a version of that that's super highly magnetized, and it shoots out all kinds of crazy stuff.
Sounds like it could be the God particle. of
Sometimes,
some kind.
sometimes they rotate and they send out. That's where you get like the pulsars, where they rotate. That's where you get the frequencies that they look like they're pulsing radio waves, and they're like, "Whoa, what's that? It might be aliens."
There might be
No.
something.
No, it's just a pulsar radiating waves. That's
Yeah,
all.
that's cool.
Scientists said the burst was so bright that theoretically, if you had a recording of the raw data from your mobile phone's 4G receiver and you knew what you were looking for, you may have found the signal
Oh, okay.
that came from halfway across the galaxy.
Okay.
So, yeah, pretty strong.
That was strong enough. That's pretty cool. Like, not gonna lie.
Stalking Horse says maybe it's a Dyson sphere.
Maybe.
It could be.
Could
We
be.
talked about Dyson spheres
Yeah,
before.
we talked about it before. You gave me like a little brief idea of
Mm-hmm.
what it could be, and I was like, I mean, it's in the realm of possibility, in my opinion.
It's one of those super futuristic things that most people don't think about, but you know, if you're looking at space exploration and Elon Musk and what he wants to do and all kinds of stuff like that, it's kind of
Can
the
channel
ideal.
that, yeah, or just figure out a way to produce it. I mean, I hope so.
The ultimate source of energy.
It is. It's a great. Better than using what we have up here, or
Well,
we have on here.
Joseph Stalin brings up a good point in chat. He says a Dyson sphere captures all energy, so it can't be a Dyson sphere. Maybe there was a malfunction in the Dyson sphere and a beam got out,
Maybe
something like that.
something.
But I think it brings up an interesting point, and I thought I talked about this previously as well. All this politics stuff, all this little quarrels and of everyday life that people worry about and they stress about and they have anxiety over could end instantly at any time from something like a gamma ray burst
Yeah,
or a supernova
yeah.
or
A direct energy weapon.
but
For
you-
people that don't know what that is, look it up.
you could, I mean, everything we have could just end instantly. You know, as
Not wrong.
one of the great filters.
The
and-
Pacific Rim could have like giant monsters coming out of it and come and eat us all.
Maybe.
That'd be cool.
And that's why I say, you know, this is kind of a wake up call. It's just a radio wave. Okay,
Yeah.
sure. But it was in our galaxy
Yeah,
for the first time.
that's pretty significant.
And
And then what's even more significant is we have the ability to actually see it and
measure it,
and kind of like be
trace
able to do,
where it came from.
get the science behind it. Because think about it, like a few hundred years ago, 1,000 years ago, they weren't able to do any of that.
They didn't even know radio waves existed.
They didn't even know radio waves existed for like how long?
And we recently just were able to image a black hole as well
Yeah.
directly.
That's pretty cool
We're making
too.
a lot of great advancements in,
We are in science,
space,
and astro,
astronomy.
and I mean that's why Trump started the Space Force. I'm telling you.
MA, what's
MA,
up?
hi MA.
Welcome to the chat.
Welcome.
We're talking about
We missed you.
non-election stuff today, just to give everyone a break.
I mean, we're doing a little interjections of election stuff, but not like all about it.
It seeps its way in.
It seeps its way in, but we're not gonna really like make it the whole point of this live stream tonight.
Mm-hmm.
We want to talk about other things because it's fun to talk about other things.
But
And you're teaching me something cool.
there you go.
Yeah.
Science lesson at the same
Science
time.
lesson for me because I'm not that bright.
But
but
here's the thing: we have a society, and if I had a message that was kind of like the underlying goal of my entire channel and the entire effort that I want to do with my public presence is this. I want to get the message across that humanity needs to focus on advancement and survival above emotional quarrels and politics and things like that, because one day something's going to happen, and if we're not advanced enough, we're not going to survive it.
Yeah.
And then all your politics, your universal health care, all that other BS,
it's going to be out the door.
That you spent your entire life trying to advocate for,
it's going to be gone.
Will matter 0%.
Yeah.
It won't matter at all.
Yeah.
So
exactly,
there's bigger picture stuff going on above the politics, and I think this is a good reminder of why we should continue to advance and work together and be productive as a human species.
Yeah, because now that we have these giant radio bursts happening in our galaxy, you never know what's going to happen next. Could get anything.
What's up, KTZ? He says, I need a stream like this right now. The election is giving me gray hair. Hey, this is a nice breath of fresh air.
Pretty sure I might have a gray hair on on the side of my head, but luckily I'm
right. Everybody does.
Well, when you have short hair, you notice it a lot more. When you have long hair, it's easier to hide it. Yeah. But I don't like having long hair. It's too much.
Well, in more exciting astrological news, astrology or astronomy, astronomical news.
Well, I mean, this is kind of like it's about the moon. So it is like in space, but it's like what's going on with the moon and how there's more water on the moon than they ever thought.
From the AP.
The AP.
Moon holds more water in more places than ever thought. Ladies and gentlemen, there's water on the moon.
Yeah. So if we need water, like if planet Earth is so bad, we could potentially live on the moon if there's water. We just would have to figure out a way to get that water and like get people on the moon and get them working and building, but
get some robots up there and start harvesting it.
Well, I mean, I don't even know. I would say robots for now.
Send robots, get everything set up, and then we can move in.
That's true. That's smart. That's probably what Elon Musk wants to do.
I told you about his whole digging, the whole boring company theory, right?
Yeah, he wants to like build stuff on the moon or Mars.
Yeah, and Mars. For the guys who didn't hear it on the stream, my theory is that Elon's boring company isn't really about alleviating traffic problems. It's about developing technologies to be used to drill on different planets.
Best way to do it and make money at it.
Exactly. He can do it now and make money by doing traffic tunnels.
Practice.
But it ultimately is for building on other planets or the moon. Continuing on from the AP. The moon's shadowed frigid nooks and crannies may hold frozen water in more places and in larger quantities than previously suspected. And for the first time, the presence of water on the moon's sunlit surface has been confirmed.
Okay.
Scientists report Monday, This is from October 26th. That's good news for astronauts at the lunar bases who could tap into these resources for drinking and making rocket fuel.
Okay.
So one of the biggest challenges with space travel is obviously the rocket fuel. How do you make rocket fuel? You have to bring it up with you. We don't have like a gas station in outer space.
Yeah, there's nothing there.
Now maybe we have something resembling a gas station.
Or they could at least put something there to create rocket fuel.
With some of the base
elements that they have around them.
Exactly.
That's kind of smart.
Which is exciting.
That is exciting.
Because now that opens up this whole new door of like...
How, it allows them to develop the ability to have spaceships out there as well and like be able to have like some kind of transit going or something.
Just like a stop on your way to the moon.
Yeah, that's
like a launching pad.
They're gonna like milk the shit out of it. You already know.
So we've got questions in chat. People asking how much, and AP continues on and says, while previous observations have indicated millions of tons of ice in the permanently shadowed craters of the moon's poles, a pair of studies in the journal Nature's Astronomy takes the availability of lunar surface water to a new level. More than 15,400 square miles. That's 40,000 square kilometers for everyone outside the United States.
For you Euros and your Canadians.
Of lunar terrain have the capability to trap water and in form of ice, according to a team led by University of Colorado. That's 20% more area than previous estimates. So what they have is a designation of land that has the ability to trap ice. And 15,000 400 square miles.
I mean, that's probably not that much to like power stuff and like have like, you know, people living on there, but
well,
it's just, you know, it's something better than nothing.
We have to get there and check it out. I think that's what we got to do. We got to send some robots up, take a look.
Yeah, take a look. Don't depend on NASA to do it because NASA doesn't want to do that.
Well, here's the thing. There's a catch, as there always is with this news. You know, you hear about water on this planet or that planet. There's always a catch, and here's the catch. The presence of water in sunlit surfaces had been previously suggested but not confirmed. The molecules are so far apart, they are in neither liquid nor solid form.
Okay.
So there's going to be...
There's going to be some work to figure it out, but at least it's there.
It's not like a puddle or a lake or like an ice cube.
Yeah, it's
that you can
it's
just
like
chip and then put in your whiskey.
No, it's we gotta figure out how to
like this. You probably to get this much water, you'd probably have to harvest, you know, like 100 metric square meters of moon dust.
Right.
But the point is, it's there, and it's still easier than bringing it up in a ship.
Right. That's a little bit more efficient, or I don't know. I don't even know, but at least it's there. That's what I'm excited about. At least it's there. Like, come on, y'all. We're not going to figure out the logistics behind it all, but I'm just saying, like, the possibilities are there if they can figure out a way to do it. Stalking horse ass with no atmospheric pressure won't it evaporate? Probably. I don't know. I don't know science.
Well, if I don't understand what they mean by it's not in solid or liquid form.
Yeah, that's weird.
So the molecules are so far apart. Obviously, you could process it somehow to where it can evaporate. Like if you scoop it up with a machine and then it brings it into some kind of contained environment, you could harvest it somehow.
Maybe it's in clouds.
You could process it. Clouds.
Because clouds are
No, it's in the dirt.
Oh, it's in the dirt?
Yeah, it's in the dirt.
That's weird. That's still cool.
No, it's still interesting news.
I think it's interesting and gives me hope, you know? That's what I'm saying. It gives me that little bit of hope.
Well, actually, you're right. There's vapors. They said there are vapors.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Whatever's clever says trapped as gas. Oh, no, they can use hydrogen as fuel and just use the hydrogen already found in space. Trapped as gas.
Have you seen the movie Moon?
No.
So in that movie, they have these robots that are harvesting the moon dust, the regolith or whatever it's called, and then they process it into, I think it was like building materials or something like that. And there's just one guy up there who's monitoring all these robots. And that's basically all he does. It's Sam Rockwell. You know Sam Rockwell?
Yeah, I know him. I was going to say, that sounds familiar. I just don't think I've ever seen it. It sounds like a pretty interesting...
I think that's what you'd have to do in this type of situation. You can't just walk up there and shovel water out.
Yeah.
You have to process it.
Yeah, you have to like get the robots technologically there to be able to do that. And not have to like depend on man so much. But especially since man can't survive out there.
Yeah.
Whereas robots can.
NASA plans to launch a water-seeking rover named Viper. Viper.
Gonna get the best.
To the moon's south pole by the end of 2022. Not bad. That's pretty good.
That's a pretty good goal, especially for NASA.
Astronauts would follow in a series of missions intended to set up long-term bases. Ooh. Long-term bases on the moon. Did you guys hear that? That is badass.
Yeah.
Space Agency wants its new Artemis moon landing program to be sustainable, unlike the Apollo program, which obviously was nowhere near sustainable.
Well, yeah, because they didn't have the technology. They thought they did, but they didn't.
Yeah, they're gonna send up a fleet of robots up there that are just gonna start harvesting and drilling and processing the water and stuff like that.
Yeah, it'll be cool. It's not gonna happen right away, folks. It just gives you a little bit of hope in the world. You know, just in case
Pressure
it doesn't work
requires
down.
containment. Yes.
Just in case it doesn't work down here, there's always that hope of one day going up there, or at least being able to send your kids up there or something. Get them away from this. Get them away from all this. Get them away.
I want intergalactic. I want like interplanetary politics.
Me too.
Like
Star Trek.
Star Trek or what's that one on Amazon? I just watched the whole series. It's about Mars and Earth. They fight, and there's a portal that opens to another place, and The Expanse.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
The Expanse is cool. It's all about like interplanetary politics.
Yeah.
So this politics that we got going on right now,
It's
child's play.
It's child's play. Yeah.
We need planets fighting other planets. Then I'm going to be interested. Starship Troopers, another good example. Yes, True North. Welcome to the chat, by the way.
Yeah, and May's right. She says we are living through a propaganda war right now. It's true, we are, and people are falling for it and forking it in, just eating it like it's candy.
I love it.
I know you do. I love it too, but at the same time, I don't want to be worried about it that much, you know?
And then you got to embrace it. You got to embrace the dystopia. It's probably my fault, actually. I willed all this dystopian stuff into existence because that's what I've wanted for so long. I've always wanted to live in a futuristic dystopia where we're ruled by AI and, you know, we have planetary space travel and
You
stuff.
want like the Matrix and all that stuff.
I willed it all into existence. I'm sorry for everyone watching. It was all my fault.
Yep, you definitely did. Thanks, Jeremy.
Musk said if he created colonies on Mars, it would not be subject to earthly laws. Well, why would it be?
Wow, why would it be? We would have to figure out. I guarantee you try to put a society up on Mars, there's going to be some kind of a government trying to step in and being like, no, you can't do that.
How would they enforce anything, though?
I know, that's what I'm trying. Like, that's why China and United States and a lot of.
It's really a race.
It's a race to get to like space and have like a military presence in space. That's what it is.
Space Force.
Yeah, that's what the Space Force is.
That's why you need Space Force.
That's why we need the Space Force.
People were confused about Space Force. What are you gonna do with Space Force?
Do you not realize that China has a Space Force? They're trying to get people like a military presence in space, like guarding us, guarding their country. So we need to match them.
Space Force for space battles.
We're gonna have space battles, yo.
Deadly space battles. Speaking of deadly space battles, we got to talk about the murder hornets.
Oh yeah, that was a thing like months ago.
This article's from October 26th.
Okay.
So from the AP again.
Well, I remember the murder hornet story was back in like April, I think, or something like that.
Well, the murder hornets are in America now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Oh, okay.
From the AP, scientists removed 98 murder hornets in Washington state. Nobody knows how they got here. But workers from the State Department of Agriculture managed to destroy the first nest of so-called murder hornets, which is the mean name for giant Asian hornets, discovered in the U.S. without suffering any stings or injuries. They managed to destroy the nest. What a shame. The nest, located in Whatcom County near the Canadian border, created concern because the Asian giant hornets are large and their sting can be lethal.
But are they really the Asian giant?
Yeah.
They really are?
Yeah.
They're not just
No, they're like this big.
I mean,
Have you seen the YouTube video where the Asian giant hornets invade the bee's nest?
I haven't seen a hornet that big. So, yeah, okay. Hornets get pretty gnarly.
There's this video on YouTube where if you go, you watch it, there's like 10 or 20 giant hornets. They invade an entire bee's nest.
Oh my god!
And they just slaughter everything. There's like piles of dead bees
no.
everywhere because the murder hornets are this big, and they just one chomp from their mandibles and they just like split a bee in half.
Poor little honeybees.
They don't mess around.
They are like on a path of destruction, man.
That's the thing.
Those poor get these murder hornets out.
These imperial colonialist murder hornets.
Yeah, the imperial colonial murdering.
So
murder hornets.
If anybody, tries to argue against imperialism or colonialism, you just point to the murder hornets and say, hey, it's natural. Animals just naturally seek and destroy new territory.
They just naturally adapt and then wanted to kill each other. That's just nature. It's just nature, you guys. Happens.
Asian giant hornets are large and their sting can be lethal, especially if a person is stung numerous times. The hornets also pose a huge threat to honeybees that pollinate many crops, as if our honeybees didn't have enough to worry about.
Yeah, they already have
now.
Humans to worry about, and now they got murder hornets coming after them. Like, that's messed up, man.
But hey, I'm telling you about the dystopian future. And it definitely involves swarms of giant deadly bees.
Just eating people.
Yeah.
It's going around and eating people, stinging them to death and then eating them.
KTZ says, I don't generally consent to murdering anything, but I believe it's okay to murder hornets.
Yeah. Let's do
Starship Troopers again. Yeah, True North. Your reference is relevant here as well.
Yeah.
Because it's all about fighting giant bugs.
It's true.
If we let these murder hornets in and they just did whatever they wanted,
then it's going to be Starship Troopers up in this.
They would just evolve into giant.
Yeah, we have to stop it before it gets worse. We have to. We can't let this go on. They can't kill our honeybees. We depend on them way too much. The honeybees are important.
They only captured 13 alive out of 98. So they're going to study them and, do all kinds of Starship Troopers-esque experiments on them where they test out what kind of weapons work.
Probably, yeah. I mean, did you see these suits that these guys are wearing, too?
Oh, yeah.
It's like super Starship Troopers-esque. Like,
they look like spacesuits.
They look so weird.
But you have to
gotta protect yourself, man.
They're Asian giant hornets. They can kill you with their sting. That's pretty dead serious.
It is pretty dead serious.
Could you imagine trying to walk in there and like scooping out giant hornets that are like this big, like an inch and a half big?
Yeah, that would be kind of scary. Kind of scary.
Team members used a wooden board to whack the tree and encourage hornets to leave, the agency said. When the hornets stopped coming out of the nest, the team pumped carbon dioxide into the tree to kill or anesthetize any remaining hornets. They then sealed the tree with spray foam, wrapped it again with cellophane, and placed traps to catch any potential survivors. Wow, they were thorough.
They weren't kidding with these killer hornets.
During the operation, yeah, that was pretty wild.
I mean, good on them. Like, they don't want that shit to come back. Good. Kill them. Take your samples and stuff, but just kill them.
Well, they're worried about whether the colonies created any additional queens to create new colonies. So that's the question now.
How many of these things are released?
Think about it. If you find one colony,
there's probably going to be another.
What's the likelihood that there's only one colony?
No, I don't think so. There's going to be more.
There's probably more.
Okay.
And if there's one more,
so we're going to have murder hornets and murdering people that want to murder in the streets too. So great. Well, thanks 2020.
Starship Troopers sounds interesting. Can you tell me more? Would you like to know more?
Would you like to know more about Starship Troopers? I've never seen it, but I know about it.
Shame.
I know. Shame me. It's fine.
Well, it's just another case of an invasive species coming in and, messing everything up. But this is interesting because it's an invasive species. An invasive species represents an unnatural change in an environment.
Yeah.
Right? We have this narrative about humans causing climate change and all this other stuff where we're supposedly the bad guys and we're evil for doing certain things in environments. But we can now see invasive species happens naturally.
Yeah.
A murder hornet can just invade Washington and spread throughout the United States, kill all the bees. And guess what? The bees are all going to die. Maybe all the plants are going to die as well because they can't pollinate.
Yeah.
But that's just how evolution works. Random stuff happens.
Yep.
That leads to, if the dinosaurs never got killed by the meteors, we would never be here.
Yeah, it's true.
So sometimes this stuff just has to happen. Maybe the right choice is to let the murder hornets do their thing and just kill everything.
Maybe.
Because now we're fighting nature.
That's true.
Isn't that the natural? Wouldn't that be the
Maybe that's why we're all messed up, is because we fight nature a lot.
Wouldn't that be the naturalist's response, like the global warming people? Like,
yeah, I think so.
Why would you interrupt nature?
Yeah, don't interrupt nature.
As far as we know, humans didn't bring this.
Yeah.
So they just came here naturally.
As
far as we know. That's the open question, is how did they get here?
How did they get here?
We don't know yet.
Where did they come from? How come we've never seen this species of hornet before? I thought we knew about all different types of species of hornet. Is this a new thing? Is this just like a species that just randomly came out of nowhere?
The invasive insect is normally found in China, Japan, Thailand, South Korea, Vietnam, and other Asian countries.
Okay.
Washington State and the Canadian province of British Columbia are the only places the hornets have been found on the continent.
How did they get here then?
Chinese people planted them.
Yeah. They just
China. Yeah, see? Chat's calling it.
China.
Anthony called it.
China.
T-Lala.
I mean, I kind of knew it came from China, which is fine, but...
What if that's their master plan, to overtake America?
Do the mortar hornets? Just slowly let them trickle in and procreate and then just eat us.
I mean, it's a low cost, low, casualty plan. You just put some murder hornets in. They'll slowly kill all the bees, destroy the food supply, and then you're dead.
That's actually kind of smart on China. It's a semi kind of natural way that people can believe about the food supply chain getting disrupted.
And America will blame itself the whole time because climate change.
Yeah, Americans will.
They're blaming themselves for their own destruction because of climate change. How hilarious would that be?
Like, we did this.
That would be, what we need to see more of is like parody versions of dystopian sci-fi futures. It's always really serious, like, oh, look at how grim and dark it is. But we need like parody versions of that. This would be a perfect example of a skit or something you could throw in something like that.
Yeah, that's true.
Look at these humans. They're killing themselves. They're blaming themselves for,
suiciding themselves for the murder hornets.
Yeah.
We deserve this.
They're like running into the nest, sacrificing themselves. I'm sorry for my carbon emissions.
I'm sorry that I did this to you. Sorry.
I'm sorry I bought gasoline for my car.
I'm sorry that I'm participating in a healthy, thriving economy. Just eat me. It's okay.
So that's fun.
That's a fun one.
Murder hornets. I don't like the term murder hornets. It kind of infantilizes it a little bit.
Yeah,
I
but
prefer
it's
Japanese,
dramatic.
Asian hornets of destruction.
Yeah,
Personally, but it's fine.
it's fine. We just jazz them up a little bit or razz them
Yeah,
up a little.
murder hornets are from Japan. True North.
Aren't murder hornets from Japan? That's hilarious.
They're Asian giant hornets.
Yeah, they can come from
the real name is
Japan.
Asian giant hornets.
They can come from Japan. Like, that's cool. It's just it probably comes from China.
I'm telling you, it's a Chinese weapon.
Chinese weapon of mass
China.
destruction with some bees. That's what the Chinese got.
Hornets.
Hornets.
Not
They
bees.
got hornets.
They don't want to put more bees because that means we get more fruit. Moving on to international news. Believe it or not, there's actually conflict happening in other countries that we
Yep.
don't know about.
Not everybody's so peaceful as
I
we
didn't
might
even know
think.
about this, which is why I wanted to bring it up here on the stream, just to give everyone some perspective. And remember that there's always a worse situation out there.
Yeah. Gives you
So-
a little grounding.
To illustrate this, we go to Ethiopia
Oh yeah.
from the Associated Press. This is an article entitled "Why Ethiopia is Suddenly on the Brink of Civil War"
Who no, you don't want that.
from Nairobi, Kenya. Ethiopia appears on the brink of civil war, threatening the stability of one of the world's most strategic regions, the Horn of Africa, and the fracturing of one of Africa's most powerful and populous countries. The crisis in Ethiopia, a key U.S. security ally, has been building for months. Has anybody heard about this?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Probably not.
According to the Deputy Director of International Crisis Group's Africa Program, it has been like watching a train crash in slow motion. Ethiopia's Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, awarded the Nobel Peace Prize last year for sweeping political reforms, faces the sharpest consequences yet of the country's recent shifts in power. Here's the reasons. Two things occurred early Wednesday morning. Communications were cut in Ethiopia's heavily armed Tigray region, and Abiy announced he had ordered troops to respond to an allegedly deadly attack by Tigray's forces on a military base there. So imagine their military bases are under attack.
Yep.
Communications get cut. Chaos.
Yeah.
Absolute chaos, right?
They don't, and then the people that when the communication is severed, they don't know on the other side what's going on either.
Exactly.
So it could be much worse than they thought.
Both sides have accused each other of initiating fighting, which is exactly what you'd expect in a situation of pure chaos.
Yeah, it's gonna be bad.
Both sides
A
stepped
lot
up.
of African countries are in turmoil right
Well,
now.
it's a key region.
It is. It's really key.
Both sides stepped up the pressure Thursday. Ethiopia's army said it was deploying troops from around the country to Tigray, and the Tigray leader announced that we are ready to be martyrs.
Okay.
That's something you don't really ever want to hear.
Yeah, you don't want to hear that. You don't want to hear people are willing to die for their cause. Like that's okay.
Casualties have already been reported on both sides, and on Friday, the prime minister announced his government had carried out airstrikes. So there's basically a small
Yeah.
war happening over there, and nobody over here has heard about it.
Yeah.
I thought that was fascinating.
Yeah.
And I love hearing about this stuff because it reminds you that, hey,
There's
America's-
actual war going on right now.
we're not the center of the universe.
Yeah.
America.
We're trying to step away from all this stuff.
We have
and
to step outside the CNN, MSNBC, Fox filter of what's going on in the world
Yep.
to
get
actually
off
see
the
what's
big
going
six and look at other things.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys don't want to. These guys, the big six, don't care about what's going on in Ethiopia, even though they should. I mean, they are a news organization.
We're talking about two well-trained, large forces who are fighting each other with no signs of backing down, okay?
Yeah.
Ethiopia is one of Africa's most well-armed nations. Despite all the memes you may have heard of Ethiopia, usually when you think of Ethiopia, you think of like
Poor, nothing
poor,
there.
skinny runners,
Yeah.
stuff like that. But no, they
No,
actually have
have like a pretty well armed militia. So this is not good, y'all. Like this is not good. First Nigeria, now Ethiopia. Nigeria is like a huge economy, gigantic, one of the biggest ones in Africa, on the whole continent. And so Ethiopia, now this stuff is going on over there. Holy crap! Okay.
So right now, it's not big enough to get on the radar of like CNN or MSNBC.
Of course not.
But
If you put if there's like a kid that gets blown up on video, then it might get their attention.
well, nobody cares about Africa. I mean, we care about Africa, but that's a sarcastic commentary on what the news chooses to pay attention to.
True.
They don't pay attention to it. They don't care about Africa.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason that it's as notable because the conflict could spread to other parts of Ethiopia where some regions have been calling for more autonomy. There's federal governments are trying to restore order, arresting critics of the government.
Yeah.
It could grow. That's the point.
People think that there's that kind of stuff going on here, and I'm sure it might be, but it's if it does happen to you, there's just so much more you can do with it. Whereas in another country like Ethiopia, this stuff is happening and no one else cares.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
We're worried over here about hypothetical, theoretical Nazis like Proud Boys who are stand by and stand ready.
Poor boys, not Proud Boys.
Poor boys. They might attack. We don't know. We're still waiting for this mythical right-wing violence to come into action.
Waiting for the right-wingers to go and riot and burn buildings down.
Yeah, because it looks like Trump might not win, but where's all this right-wing violence that hasn't actually happened? Missiles and people are dying in other countries right now, and nobody cares.
Yeah. Matthew says, non-election news? Damn you all to hell. I need my black pill fix. I feel it, dude. Like, we want to talk about it, but we don't because there's really not, like, what's the news on it? Really? What is the news?
MA brings up a good point. Says we should have federal grants to send left-wing activists to help Ethiopia because Black Lives Matter, right?
Right! There we go.
There's slave trade actively in Africa. Nobody cares about that.
Yeah, they don't care.
Apparently, we're supposed to care about slavery in America, but there's slavery happening right now.
In another country, but we don't want to care about that.
People are enslaved. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Wars happening. People are dying. Nobody cares.
I mean, people are technically being enslaved when they get human trafficked into this country. So they'll go into like indentured servitude and stuff like that, which is a form of slavery. So it's still happening in this country. It's still happening around the world. It's just certain countries are not. There's not like a legal precedent set that you can't do this. Whereas like in America, if you caught human trafficking, you get in trouble. Like you get in trouble.
That's a good point. Yeah, the
Like,
laws are not the same everywhere.
Like, oh my gosh, not the same everywhere. It's quite sad. It's quite sad. Like you said, freaking Libya, there's an active slave trade going on. The government doesn't care. They don't care. Like, you know, why would they care? Why would they give
People are being enslaved in Africa. Children are being enslaved in America. Wars, people are dying everywhere else.
Yeah.
Workers are killing themselves making your iPhones in China.
Yep.
But nobody cares about any of that.
Yeah. People are getting kicked out of their homes in China just for the color of their skin and where their like heritage is, like, but they don't care about that.
Yeah.
They can't go into certain restaurants. You know, they're doing like apartheid kind of stuff in certain parts of China, but they don't care about that. They want to be like China. That's the thing. A lot of these people that voted a certain way, they want that in this country. I'm like, no, thank you.
First world problems. That's the
first world
picture
problems.
we're trying to illustrate for everybody is that this
You don't
election
want to be
stuff.
in Ethiopia right now.
This election stuff, you know, if you're just worrying about one old guy getting elected over Donald Trump,
Right.
who's going to do nearly nothing or probably die within 3 years, there's bigger things to worry about.
Right.
That's all. And we're trying to help you maintain perspective on that.
And maybe entertain you a little bit in the wake of all that.
If you woke up and you found a murder hornet nest in your house, how much would you care about the election?
Oh, you wouldn't care about the election at all. You would definitely like care more about that murder hornet, or you know, if you're a little bit more hopeful, you see the news about the giant radio frequency found in space and think, oh, that's cool. What's that? What's all that about? Gives you a little bit of hope. Let's keep that going.
Well, that's why I'm never going to have as many viewers as the other guys because I'm not using those emotional triggers to get the viewership in. Because there are a lot of other people out there right now talking about the election stuff, doing exactly what I said. Oh, if this happens, then this will happen. If this happens, then this will happen. I hope this will happen.
Yeah, it's sportscaster
Who
stuff.
Who cares?
Yeah, who gives a crap?
I understand that people need to get that kind of the fix. They need to hear.
Be on the. Give me my fix.
They need to hear something that's going to reassure them. I understand that, but that, like I said, that's exactly why I'm not ever going to have as many viewers as those people because I'm interested in the bigger picture.
Right. We are interested in how y'all are doing. We're trying to keep your spirits up by just talking to you. Talking to y'all, talking to each other. That's why I told him before the stream, I was like, I want to do like just a little like quick few minutes of just like, hey, how you doing? How are you doing? How are you feeling?
Mm-hmm.
We didn't
Me?
get, yeah, how are you?
Oh, I was told you I was racking up a lot of points on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
I call points likes.
Yeah.
Well, likes are points for me, or comments mostly because people are talking smack, and I'm on there just having a field day talking about how COVID is dead, how the Russian collusion is dead,
Yeah.
how we don't care about election integrity anymore.
We don't. Integrity.
I'm just having a field day.
And they're just melting down.
It's a great time. Yeah. Well, they're trying to fight back, and what we're seeing right now that I'm enjoying the most is leftists who are trying to get what the right wing got out of the 2016 win.
Oh.
They want that emotionally satisfying, like they want to see the conservatives like
Cry and scream and, yeah. No.
meltdown.
Meltdown.
They're trying to find the meltdowns.
They're not happening,
It's
though.
not happening, but they're trying to turn things into meltdowns.
Yeah, they're like trying to turn like I've seen Trump trains and Trump parades going on still, and they're trying to turn those into meltdowns. It's like that's not a meltdown. It looks like they're happy.
No, like even in California, out here today, you just by my apartment, there've been Trump parades outside with their flags honking and driving around all day
People
long.
are still having the hope, yo.
All day. And I'm just I'm enjoying fantasizing about what's going to happen if all these lawsuits and everything go through.
Yeah.
Because what we're looking at right now is really a setup for a massive mental health disaster.
Yeah.
That's really what it is.
I've been trying to say, like, we gotta
Better
wait.
true north.
We gotta wait until inauguration day to see what. We got to see all what happens. Who's going to get inaugurated? Because that's really what I care more about.
They think that the media calling the election is official.
It's not.
That's funny.
Until that's the best part about this is that they think the media, like all the news organizations, say what they want them to say, that it's official, and that's what's going to happen, and it's not. I hate to break it to you. If there's any leftists watching this or any lefties that are Joe Biden supporters, it's not it, you guys.
Yeah, AP doesn't decide who's the president.
AP doesn't decide who the president is. MSNBC doesn't decide. CNN doesn't decide. We the people decide. And we are depending on some actual integrity with this election, and we're not seeing it, unfortunately.
Other than that, I'm having a great time.
Yeah.
It doesn't really affect me at all. Like I said in the last stream, my investment into this election is precisely $400.
Yeah.
Zero
emotional.
emotion. It's purely monetary, $400.
Oh, I love you.
And
that's how you get obfuscate the emotional reaction.
I had to put some money down because,
You're like, I don't care.
Otherwise, what does my opinion mean? If you're going to listen to me as a commentator,
I'm not going to not
as
put
a
money
pundit, I'm going to put the money down to show you where I stand and explain why I had that in there. If it doesn't go through, it doesn't go through, and I'll explain, why after it doesn't go through. But we have many weeks left until I have to make that explanation.
Yep.
So
we're just gonna we're gonna write it out a little bit, do some fun stuff in between, because like we've been saying, we don't need to talk about this because really it's not settled. It's not. What was it? The 2000 election? They said Al Gore won. The media said Al Gore won. They printed it and everything, and then Al Gore didn't win, yo.
MA asked who I bet. I bet on Trump. I bet $400 on Trump at Predict It, and that was when he was at like 4 to 6 odds. So it would have been a nice payout. No, we're in Sacramento, KT.
Yep, we are in Sacramento,
capital of California. Capital
city, where you see just people wearing blankets outside. No clothes, just blankets.
It's getting bad.
It's quite sad, and I've lived here my whole life, so it's just it's a tough one for me to see. It's a tough pill to swallow, but
I'm seeing a lot of people in chat talking about how they have other streams open and they're interested in hearing election-related stuff. I want to hear from my viewers.
Yeah.
How are you guys feeling?
Yeah, how are you guys doing?
Tell me what's going through your mind. I want to see what your reactions are to everything that's been going on so far. Where are you at? Are you optimistic? Are you pessimistic? Are you ready to swallow a handful of black pills?
Yeah.
Like what?
Shovel them in.
Yeah, I'm really curious because I would think that most of my viewers are smart enough not to get roped into the emotional, kind of really sabotage that this whole thing is turning out to be. But I'm still curious. I'm open-minded too.
It's hilarious. So like I said earlier in the stream, I went to my dad's house to help him clear out the oleander trees, and you could just tell that some of my family members that they heard the news and they were happy, and I stayed silent because I don't want to like just be like, no, you're wrong.
Rain on their parade.
Yeah, rain on their parades. I just let them get happy and excited. I'm like, it's cool. Like, you get your little victory and feel good for a little bit, and think that he's leaving tomorrow when he's not.
Yeah, I was out and about today, and it seemed lively. Everyone seemed kind of happy, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy. I'm good. Like, it doesn't. Like I said, I've told my roommate this earlier. I was like, I want Trump to win, but if he doesn't, I'm not an emotional baby that's.
You're not gonna break down.
I'm not gonna break down and cry
depression.
And post stuff on TikTok, screaming in my car on my way home about how he won. Like, no, or lost. I don't care. Like, I would prefer him because he has done a good job, and I want 4 more years of that.
Wait, you have emotional maturity?
Kinda, yeah, for a lesbian.
I wasn't gonna go from that angle. But.
I mean, I'll pull it. For a lesbian, I got some emotional security somewhat. Not in everything.
Kate TZ asks why we're still in California.
Well,
I'm working on it.
I've lived here my whole life, and I don't want to leave, but he's kind of starting to maybe convince me to
scouting.
leave. Yeah, he's scouting me to, like, maybe leave, which is fine. I mean, we all need to leave the nest at some point. It's just, California's so nice. It used to be so nice, but now it's just terrible.
MA says she processed grief for Trump.
Kind of a little bit.
Then she realized no matter what, MAGA will live on spiritually.
Right?
And now
MAGA will always live on. It's a mindset. It's an idea. It's like, I want to make America great again. Like, it's a state of mind. I'm going to do my best to try to make America great again. Whether Trump's the president or not, I'm going to try to do my best to make this country the best that it could possibly be.
Redneck Howley says, I'm pessimistic, but want to hear non-election news. Well, we hope we filled your fix of non-election news.
Right?
We did an hour straight of
we
non-election
did an hour straight of just
Hopefully
like a little bit of science.
A lot of interesting stuff happening, actually.
Little murder hornet update.
Murder hornets, water on the moon, radio waves coming from magnetars in our own galaxy.
That was cool. And then
war in Ethiopia.
And then was there anything else? I think there was one other thing we talked about.
Yeah, there was. I can't remember what it was, though.
Can't remember what it was
I already
either.
closed the tab. It must have been really good.
Yeah, it was so interesting. Oh yeah, it was that 9,000-year-old skeleton that they were.
Oh yeah, the feminist cave woman.
The feminist cave woman that like came out of the research from UC Davis, which is right down the street from us. Oh my God, it was so good. It was so good.
Matt Stoicism says, "I'm so dark that nothing can make me gray."
Huh.
He's got his favicon or his picture is a wolf too.
Hell yeah, you are hella gray, you wolf man.
Don't let the election ruin your emotions, says Stalking Horse.
Yes.
That's so I keep coming back to this idea that everything in politics is just gender.
Yeah.
Everything is male versus female.
Yes, it is.
Reacting to the elections in an emotional way.
Very female.
It's a female. It's a feminine behavior.
Oh yeah. Don't say that.
A guy who's solid in every other aspect of his life should not react to any kind of externalities that way. If it's a president, if it's whatever, any kind of government stuff, especially that. It's so far away. It's so abstract to your immediate life.
That why are you stressing?
Yeah, how does that affect how you're gonna care for your kids or whatever?
About your job? Yeah, the president doesn't give you a job. He just makes sure the government doesn't prevent you from getting a job.
Some people might argue that, Biden's gonna get rid of like gas jobs in Pennsylvania and stuff like that.
Probably.
But those guys can adapt.
They can.
Adapt.
Those guys are gonna like.
They can learn to code.
Yeah, they can learn to code. They can learn how to do
joking.
Robotic work.
I don't actually mean that.
I mean, you should learn how to code. It's a good skill to have. It's a really good skill to have.
I don't even know how to code. I'm a cybersecurity expert. I don't even know how to code.
Oh well,
You don't need to know how to code.
I was gonna say.
You don't need to know.
Whatever.
Joseph Stalin says murder hornets can't start new wars. That's what you think.
That's what you think.
Until they get weaponized by the Chinese government.
They're already weaponizing insects.
Don't be like the screaming woman at Trump's inauguration. Yes.
I love her.
The depriving the leftists of that reaction is actually more satisfying. Almost more satisfying, I'll say. Not as satisfying, but almost as satisfying as getting it ourselves. Because nothing makes them more angry than not reacting to things.
Right?
So
when you're like the pleasant one and the nice one, that pisses them off even more.
Always remember that. Yeah, guys, if Trump loses, remember that fact. nothing makes them more angry
Is when
than you not reacting.
Than you being cool.
Yeah.
Than you being nice and sweet and not being an emotional baby that gives them an excuse to laugh at you.
They were photoshopping Trump's face onto the screaming woman's face because they had no actual examples of...
They've just been, the memes that they've been coming up with are just so low energy and lame that I'm over it.
They want that reaction so bad. The point is that they're photoshopping because they don't have any actual examples of it happening.
Right.
So they have to Photoshop Trump on a leftist raging to get that same feeling.
They're so stupid. The left can't meme. Let me just say that. They're awful.
They can't meme. They don't have sense of humor. They have nothing.
They don't have strong economic policies. They don't have anything. They don't have strong people in general. You know, most of them are these frail little
mentally ill
soy boys
broken
and
families,
or these behemoth women that just
behemoth women. I like that.
Behemoth women that just frighten you because they're just gigantic but still short at the same time. It's like, how is that physically possible? How did that happen?
Brace the laws of physics.
And they just are usually far more aggressive than the men are, and the men are such betas that they won't check their woman because they know they'll get just bitch slapped by them.
Oh no, the epidemic of beta males is probably what lost us this election.
Oh yeah, for real.
When I say us, I mean Trump supporters.
Oh, I know.
Because if you look at the white votes, like the white males, I think, and MA brings up the demographic point of Trump got historically high non-white votes for GOP, which is true, but he also got kind of low on white people because of the epidemic of beta males. Betas, guys who are like the male feminists, and they're
like, I'm just gonna settle for Biden.
The exact type you were talking about, who vote for Biden, and it's
They could just because he's not Trump, and they think that's the right thing to do.
It's the chronic deprivation of testosterone from our society. Is really, I think,
the
what
men
it is.
are just lacking in that T, bro.
Low T society.
Low T society. The women have higher T than some of these men. Like, I think that's why they're so aggressive, because they got the higher T than a lot of the men that they're with.
My happiness is their poison. Yes.
Yes, exactly. It makes them so mad when you're so nice and happy and pleasant. It's hilarious. I've seen it happen before, where when we went to the women's rally and the people were like screaming at him, flipping him off, and the freaking Trump supporters are like, God bless you, we love you. And it just makes them more mad. They're just like, yeah, well, F you.
Yeah.
Remember the guy was like, 4 more years. And the lady was like, that's exactly how long you have to live.
Yeah.
And you're just, she was like, was that mean to say? And you were like, that was a little mean.
The emotional dichotomy is very present.
It was so sad, but it was so like just tasted so good. Oh my goodness.
They were vote farming in nursing homes. No, it doesn't surprise me.
I've heard a lot of just fraud in general.
Captain the Dog says, Rudy gonna get him.
I hope
Go
so.
get him, Rudy.
Get him, Rudy. I mean, you better, because this isn't fair. It's just not right.
Yes, Matt brings up a good point. The market for males with testosterone is going to be very good because low T males are flooding the market.
Oh yeah.
So for real men, it's a
nice.
You're going to make a killing.
You're going to make a killing. Yeah. I feel it for real.
Z-Room points up the fact that hordes of Trump supporters are rioting. Oh wait, no, they're not. They're not rioting.
They're not rioting.
No. Let's get a count of how many fires in cities have been burned down and stores looted because of Trump supporters. What was that? Zero?
I haven't heard of any so far.
Can we get an update from our national correspondent on that?
Yeah. Apparently,
Zero?
according to my roommate, he's like, the Trump supporters do want to riot, though. And I'm like, well, I'm sure they do, but they don't. That's the whole point.
See, that's the projection.
Yeah.
Where it's like you project, and he's projecting his emotionality onto the Trump supporters. They want to riot.
They do want to riot. It's like, well, of course they want to riot, but they know better. They don't want to get arrested. They got to go to work in the morning. They got families to feed. Going to jail for rioting is not exactly smart. Doesn't make you more appealing when you have gone to jail for starting a riot or for being a part of a riot or for burning down a business. Like, that's not sexy.
They probably don't get the same treatment as Antifa. They just get released if they get caught. You know what I mean?
Says they're looting in Thousand Oaks. Stalking Horse says they're looting in Thousand Oaks.
Thousand Oaks.
Thousand Oaks. That's down in L.A., isn't that? But
probably not Trump supporters.
Probably not Trump supporters.
KT, hey, if you're leaving, thanks for dropping by. I'm happy you found the channel. I hope you like it, and we stream a couple times a week.
We're here on Weekly Narrative. We're here to entertain you guys.
We hope to see you back.
Always love new people in the stream, in the channel.
Stalking Horse got us with fake news. He was lying the whole time.
Oh, okay. God damn you, Stalking Horse.
I think Thousand Oaks is probably a really nice neighborhood.
I'm going to say, isn't that a nice neighborhood?
That was the joke that went over our heads.
Probably because I'm not from there.
Yeah, Thousand Oaks sounds like
I was going to say, isn't Thousand Oaks like a residential? So what are they looting? Yeah. Residents? Like, come on now. That's not the place to go. You want to go like loot Gucci and Prada and Walmart and Target. Like, those are the places you want to go loot. Mm-hmm.
Is that Thor's hammer around your neck? Yes, it is.
Yes, he wears Thor's hammer.
This is Mjolnir.
He's a Viking god.
To remind everybody of my Swedish heritage. People probably think it's racist.
A little bit.
It's a racist symbol.
I remember during the Women's March when that young lady came up to you. She's like, "I like your necklace," and you're like, "Oh, thank you. Do you know what it is?" And she was like, "No, I just wanted to say that I like your necklace." And he like explained to her that it was Thor's hammer and how he comes from Viking blood and all this stuff. And
it's oppressive. David's right. It's an oppressive symbol.
It is super oppressive. How dare people? How dare you rock your heritage and tell people the story of the Viking god?
Any celebration of heritage outside of Africa is racism.
It's super racist.
Yeah.
MA wants to know if I've ever thought about running for public office. No, because that's terrible. Nobody wants to have me run anything. Let me just say. Especially when it comes to like government stuff. Like, you don't want me. There's somebody else that could do a better job. I guess that's the problem we have in politics, really, is nobody wants to do it.
Well, I was
people want to do it, but
here's my theory. I did want to talk about this. This isn't really directly about the election, but this is about a bigger picture politics, and it pings off exactly what you're just saying. I think the left is always going to be better at politics for one reason, because they're the ones who always want to change the rules of the game, and they blame externalities for their condition, whereas conservatives, Republicans, self-sustaining, independent people, we always look inward first to improve ourselves and our conditions before we go to externalities.
Yep.
So that combined with the fact that the left is more likely to be like operating in groups, collective.
It's easier to find a bunch of mutants that think like you.
Yeah.
Than it is finding people like us that think like us.
Exactly. They have an advantage in that respect in politics. They're always going to be more interested, and that's why we don't see any of the Republicans or many of the Republicans coming to back up Trump.
Yep.
Because it's like, oh, screw you, dude. You're out on your own. Whereas if it was someone on the left, like AOC, who was under attack, they would flood every single one would flood around them and protect,
even though she's total trash and they shouldn't
and defend and
her.
They would all act in unison. You don't have that on the right. So
there's too many individuals who are free thinkers on the right and just want to be left alone, really. Whereas like the left, they kind of get off on the collectivism. They're like, yeah, I'm a collectivist. I care about everybody, including myself. That's so much better. And it's like, well, I care about other people too, but I always worry about myself first. And I always just keep a cool, calm, collected head about a lot of things, because when you get over emotional, you just make terrible decisions. And if you associate with these terrible people that just are playing the identity politics and just trying to get you emotional over just dumb stuff that you have no control over. Like those
David says it perfectly in chat. He says, the Democrats are selling candy, the Republicans are selling bitter medicine.
Yeah, it's true. It's not a spoonful of sugar.
Good point, David.
It is. It's a bitter pill to swallow that you have to accept at some point, that there are certain things that you don't have any control over. You can't control humans. You can't control them, no matter how much you try. You can try, but at the end of the day, humans will do what they want. So you can't control that, and that pisses them off. That's why. I think MA in the chat said that I'm like a total, like I should be the new face of the GOP because, and I'm like, I mean, it would be nice, but there's just a lot of people in the Republican Party that just still aren't okay with the gays and all that shit, which I'm like, that's fine. That's your prerogative, but you're missing out on a cool person here. Like,
Well, see, if you did it, you'd have to like never even really talk about it.
Yeah, I would.
Because that's the annoying part. Is
Yeah.
when everyone's like, oh, hey, running for office. Oh, by the way, I'm lesbian.
Yeah, I'm a total lesbian.
Like you talk about that before you mention any of your policies.
Just have an L on my. Just that's how I'll get recognized. Just have an L on my shirt at all times to let people know. I totally am. Because like people ask me, they're like, "Wait, so you're gay?" And I'm like, "Yes." Like I thought it was obvious, but clearly not to some.
They don't have that gaydar.
They don't have that gaydar, or
Their
just
gaydar's getting jammed up.
well, it's just because I'm just a friendly, nice person to men and women, and a lot of guys just read into that and they're like, "Wait, I thought you liked me like more than that." I was like,
The
"No."
giveaway is that you're not miserable.
Yeah.
And like.
I'm kind of upbeat.
Yeah.
And I got a nice smile.
Yeah, that's the giveaway.
And I tend to smile at people when I talk to them because I like listening and, talking and engaging. And that to them is like, oh, she likes me. It's like,
They misinterpret it.
totally misinterpret, goes over their head. They, just think I'm into it because I guess there's lots of girls like me that dress like me, but they're totally straight. And I'm like, cool, but I'm not. So tough.
Funny one says, yo. Oh, I pointed at the wrong camera. Wrong camera 2.
Yo, funny one.
Everyone else is depressed on YouTube, not streaming or making vids because the election. Appreciate y'all streaming. Hey,
that's what we're here for.
Okay, we're rock in the storm.
Yeah, we're trying to be.
The whole point of my channel, if you watch my vids, if you go look at my interview vids, the whole point of my entire channel really is that I'm not emotionally reactive to anything. There's no externalities that can change and rock my emotional state.
Right.
And we're just continuing on with that principle here with this.
Yeah.
There's election stuff going on over here. Cool. That's over there. We'll let it do its thing. We'll come back
when it's time, we'll come back to it.
We'll revisit it.
Yeah.
Yeah, when there's time. But
it'll be good.
Life
carries
finds a way.
on. Life carries on. Life moves on. Like the elections are not the end all be all. There's not gonna be bombs dropped on the White House.
MA brings up a good point. Says the depressed people are being the media's bitches.
They are. They totally
exactly
are.
What
the
they
media's
want.
slaves, and it's sad to me. It's so sad.
It's exactly what they want.
It is very much what they want. They want us to be enslaved to our devices, to our TVs, to all the news that they are shelling out to us.
You know what's going to be interesting, though? If Trump's not in office, what are they going to rail about? Where are their ratings going to come from?
Because it's going to be so beautiful and so good, and everybody's going to be decent because of Joe Biden. That they're not gonna have any lifeblood to them. Like they're not gonna have anything to hate, except for when Trump tries to interject himself in.
There was a theory. I think it was Tim Pool that mentioned this because the founder of Vice, or one of the co-founders of Vice, was talking about how with digital media, it's dying fast, and Trump actually came in at a perfect time to save it. Like media was dying in 2016. But Trump came in and saved it. So now all these new media outlets can write about Trump all day, and they get clicks, right?
Yeah.
They get revenue. But you remove that variable from the equation.
That's why I was so surprised that they wanted to take him out. I'm like, you guys, like the news, they're feeding off of him, and they want him to not be in a position of power so they can feed on him. I don't understand what their logic is. What were they thinking about getting rid of Trump during this time? Like he's media gold.
That's what I was saying.
It's what people go and click on your stupid ass websites and your stupid ass blogs about.
You would think the media companies have an incentive to keep Trump in.
But they don't.
Because that's their main source of
I know.
revenue.
It's so
now, Ryan Long, who makes those great shorts on YouTube, who I showed him to you. He's the tall guy with the blonde hair and curly hair. He makes these hilarious shorts. He posted a tweet and he said most comics just lost their entire act because their
they don't have anything. They're not going to have anything to talk about.
Trump.
Most of them talk shit. All they do is talk crap about Trump, and it's quite tiring. That's why I can't watch most comics nowadays, because all they want to do is rag on Trump, and it's like, okay, this is the same freaking joke that everybody else has been saying about him. Cool, like you guys don't have anything else.
Comics lost all their material. News media lost all their material.
Yeah, it's gone.
What's going to happen to those industries?
They're gonna die.
You have to actually get creative.
Especially with coronavirus, they're gonna die.
Well, they're so you're so deep into the heroin addiction that you need a giant dose just to even feel anything.
Yeah.
What's going to happen when that dose gets reduced back down to a teeny little bit of starter dose?
I mean, your starter dose of hate and negativity and violence.
There's no hate. There's no racism to cry about. There's
right?
no.
What are you guys going to cry about now when there's all racism is erased because of Joe Biden?
That fix, that energy has to come from somewhere.
Right?
They can't just.
They're just going to make it up for themselves. They're just going to find it.
And it's a cold turkey. It's literally overnight, January 20th.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is, whatever the date is for the inauguration. Trump out, Biden in. So now are all cop shootings going to be because of Biden's America?
Right.
Like,
what's gonna happen with Black Lives Matter when Biden's the president and an unarmed black man gets shot by the police? Is it gonna be Biden's racist America then? I thought it was they just, I don't know. The Democrats have lost hope, and that's why I didn't vote for Democrat, because they just don't have any hope. There's none. There's zero. When I would see Joe Biden during the debates, I didn't see hope and light and prosperity in America's future. I saw doom and gloom and negativity, and I felt more hope with Trump. That's how I felt. That's, even with all the third party candidates that I could have voted for, I was like, you know what? There's no point. Might as well just go for Trump, because I know he's going to do, if he is elected, 4 more years of a decent job with all the odds stacked against him. And then in 2024, the Democrats, if they had their hands right, they could get some decent candidates in there, so that way better variety instead of old crony Joe Biden with shady McShaderson going on in his family. It wasn't as interesting as I thought it would be, this election.
They're addicted to darkness.
They are addicted.
They want it.
I knew it. I mean, I've always known it.
They want the dark winner.
If it bleeds, it reads.
Just because Orange Man bad.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, I mean, if it bleeds, it reads, and with Trump, it bleeds all the time because people just get so mad.
No more bleeding, though. So
yeah, there's no one bleeding.
What's going to happen to these companies? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, they're going to go under, or they're going to start making up stuff to report about, even if
they're not going to talk trash. Okay, so Trump was 90% negative articles, right, throughout his entire career.
Yeah.
90% negative coverage. They're not going to do that for Biden. So what are they going to talk about?
Oh, how wonderful he is, and how he's a decent and honest.
They have to start some new wars or something to talk about.
All I've been hearing from people about Joe Biden. They're like, he's a decent man, and I'm like, oh, how? What has he done that's decent? I don't know.
Joe Biden will be a hologram.
He is a hologram, dude. He was, during that last debate, he was having a little skipping session going on with his program. So
Funny One brings up a good question. He says, who will they blame the virus on?
No, I think you should blame it on China like they should, but they won't, because that's racist.
Their excuse will still be Trump.
Yeah, their excuse will be white supremacists, but once they learn that Joe Biden actually was friends with white supremacists, then they might change their tune and be like, yeah, see, America's racist. We elected another racist white dude.
And MA says they're going to blame all the white supremacists, any kind of future racism on the white supremacist Trump administration.
Yeah, it's quite sad.
So it's no longer Biden's America when the cops shoot people.
It's just America.
It's Trump's America still.
Yeah, it's still Trump's America.
Anything bad that happens from here forward is still Trump's America.
Right? It's still Trump's America, even when he's not even in the office. Oh my god! I can't.
It's gonna be funny. That's why.
I'm getting acid reflux just from talking about all this.
You might have black pill situation going on in your head about this whole Biden getting elected thing, but think of all the hilarious things that are about to happen.
Yeah.
All the standards that need to crumble, the Russia collusion, the racism, the white supremacy, all this stuff. They blame everything on Trump.
Yeah.
The media is getting, all their revenue off of Trump.
Yeah.
A lot of things are about to change.
Yeah, they're going to realize
drastically.
They're going to go, holy crap, we made a mistake, just because they're not going to be making as much money off of Biden as they did with Trump.
It's real.
That's what's sad is it
real.
Takes these people and these companies losing money and losing people respecting them in order to get people to wake up about it. But it's too late already if Biden actually takes this.
Not even that will wake them up.
Yeah, you're right.
Too far asleep.
Yeah, some of them are way too far asleep. You're right. But you know me, I have a little hope. I have that little tiny bit of hope. That's my job as a woman.
I have a black pill for you.
I am a woman, and I have that little bit of hope. That's my job. Sorry.
Right. I won't stomp out the last of your optimism.
Just stomp it out.
I could, but I won't.
Put that flame down.
I'll let that spark reside within you.
This is good.
I'm looking forward. T. Lala says, I'm looking forward to Trump not being the catch-all to every problem in the world. Yes, exactly.
Right?
I was thinking about that today. Because somebody they were hooting and hollering about Biden, and I jokingly said, yeah, now we get to blame Biden for everything. Mm-hmm. And that's what's going to, I mean, if we're to follow the same standard, that's what we're going to do.
Follow the same standard, but we won't.
Whoever's in the president's position is obviously the source of all the problems that happen. So now it's Biden, or it will be Biden.
If, like I said, once Biden gets elected, racism will be gone, bigotry will be gone. All that stuff is gone. Gonna be gone.
Trump may be out of the White House, but he will live rent free in their heads.
Right?
Forever.
They're not even realizing that.
They're gonna have PTSD from this 4 years.
It was 4 years of just awfulness, so much development,
Legit
so much growth,
PTSD.
so much development and growth, and just infrastructure gains in the United States, but PTSD. PTSD for that.
It's never gonna go away.
Idiots.
Trump's rallies were super spreader events, but all these cheering in the streets now, that's what we said earlier in the stream.
We said that coronavirus is gone. It's no more.
Coronavirus is over.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys heard the news, but I'll go ahead and declare it here. Coronavirus is over.
Yeah.
So
there's not going to be any more. There's not going to be any more care about coronavirus.
No
yeah, that's another thing we talked about with the lockdowns in Germany and how people are protesting against that. So I think people are just going to start being like, no, this is too long lockdown. We can't do this. This is ridiculous. We don't want this many people on welfare. Come on, y'all. Come on, man.
Come on. No, it's going to be mandatory vaccines and mandatory face masks and into 2022.
I'll die instead of take a vaccine.
Define politics, tons of people going live. I hope so. I mean, it's
it's time. A time. It's a good time. We need hope. Hopefully they're not talking too much about politics. We talked about a lot of different things, and some of it was having to do with our politics here, but we're not going to talk really that much more about it until we get some actual tangible results and we actually know who actually really won, cuz they say Joe Biden won, but I don't believe
it's only the media calling it.
It's only the media calling it for sure. So
not official.
It's not as official as people would like to think it is.
MA says, I think the media will still talk about Trump as Biden-Harris plans to Californianize America.
Yep.
Can't wait for that. Oh, man, we're heading straight for the Blade Runner.
Yep, dystopia. We are. Totally. We're going for
awesome.
Blade Runner. I mean, it'll be awesome for those that are ready for it, but for people who have never seen the movie and don't understand what it is, you're in for a wild surprise.
What up, Miles? We are talking about... we're talking about non-election related stuff. So we went over a bunch of interesting news stories about how there's water on the moon. There's war in Ethiopia.
They found a 9,000-year-old woman in Peru, a dead woman in Peru that
feminist hunter
that was a hunter that had a spear with her when she died. So that means that she was able to kill big game, and
she was an empowered woman.
She was an empowered woman even 9,000 years ago. So
Asian giant murder hornets are invading Washington State.
They found some murder hornets in Washington.
Some interesting stuff to talk about that's non-election related.
Yeah. Just gotta diversify a little bit and talk about other things. Get your minds out of it.
Z Ruin says, "Escape from Sacramento." That's it.
Let's do it. Let's get out.
Well, I moved here specifically because I wanted to see
it for himself.
I wanted to see it for myself. I didn't know anybody here.
Yeah.
I have no family here.
You don't.
I got a job here before I moved here. I had no other reason to move here other than I wanted to see everything burning down with my own eyes.
Yep.
I wanted to live in the dystopia.
Yeah, and you did.
I've gotten a good enough look at it.
You've seen it.
I've seen what's going on. I'm ready to move on.
Yeah, move the fuck on, please. Get out. Get out while you still can.
Yeah.
Get out while you still can.
And there's just as many mutants here as there are in Escape from New York.
Yeah, it's true.
All over the place.
There's mutants all over the place. You see them just walking. They sleep on the side of the road, the sidewalks and stuff. It's crazy. Hi from Sunday in New Zealand. Oh, hi. Good morning.
Wow.
Sunday
afternoon in New Zealand. Hey, North Coro.
Good afternoon, North Coro. Nice. Welcome to the stream.
Heard some interesting. I heard a story about how during the election there were a spike in Google searches for moving to New Zealand.
Oh yeah.
From America.
Oh gosh.
Don't let them in.
Don't let them in. Yeah,
don't let them in.
Tell your government and protest your government to not let these ones in, because
Be xenophobic.
Be xenophobic. It's okay. We
Don't
don't. We won't get mad at you.
Just let us do a touristy thing. Go see Lord of the Rings and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But don't let us move there.
Don't let us move there. Don't let us become.
Maintain your pristine, nice little island.
Yeah, your nice little island, your little world, and just don't let Americans in. Especially these ones. These are not good Americans.
Uh-oh, she says it's socialist there already. Oh, sorry.
Oh.
That's a bummer. We have the same problem here.
Yeah,
so
we're in California, so we can relate. We have
Yeah.
lots and lots and lots of open communists and socialists here. Lots and lots. They will proudly say it. They're like, yeah, I'm a communist. Really? That's not something to be proud of, yo. Like,
Arian Rotha says, do not believe that females were big game hunters because women can't throw for shit.
that's why I laughed when we read that article. I was just dying because it just, I told him, I was like, they're just trying to make it out to be like this great thing. And it's like,
Well, all you have to go off of is a skeleton of a cave woman with a spear,
spear
like,
next to her. That could have been her father's spear or like something, but they said that she was only like 17 to 19. So
she was, like 18 years old.
She was only like 18 years old. So even if she was a big game hunter, she didn't last very long and she wasn't very good at it.
She was a feminist icon.
She's a feminist icon.
Okay, it's the first.
Let us have our icons, Jeremy.
The first prehistoric first wave of feminism.
Yeah, the very first wave of feminism was this.
Women can earn 1 pound of flesh for every 1 pound the men earn.
Yeah, they could. Even though we can't throw for shit.
Defiant Politics says, well, that's why you're here, to admit it.
Yep.
Defiant Politics says, I would like to know what you think of Joe Biden saying, God protect our church in his speech. I didn't watch his speech, but
I didn't watch it either.
I thought it was separation of church and state.
Well,
Actually, scary things he said.
Yeah. I mean,
God protect
I'll
our
have
church.
to watch it, but I don't think it's going to be as good.
Yeah, I didn't watch the speech. I don't know the context that he said that in.
Yeah, I'll have to watch it when I go home.
Doesn't strike me as very troublesome, just off the quote itself. But like I said, I don't have the context. So.
Yeah. I mean, people say that kind of stuff.
Well, MA says that's him pandering, which is probably true.
It is totally pandering.
The religious crowd kind of exists as similar to the minority crowd, where you just kind of pander to them. You don't have to actually be religious. But
yeah,
I don't think the left is in generally very friendly to religion. So if anything, I would have to believe that he is saying that as a pandering kind of line. His speechwriters are probably, they know what's up.
Yeah, they know what's up. They know what they need to do. They know what they got. Especially since he doesn't have to do a debate and he doesn't have to really think about stuff and really listen to the question. He can just say what's on the teleprompter. He's good.
So let's pretend he was saying that completely legitimately, and he actually wants the church to be like a center point. If he said it during his speech, obviously he wants to draw attention to it. He wants it to be an emphasis. He's uplifting the religious freedoms of people in America. Like, is he going to allow people to go back to church during the coronavirus?
Probably not.
He says this, but let's see.
Make them install plexiglass.
Let's between every single seat, there's plexiglass.
There's plexiglass.
Oh my God.
He probably would do something like that.
But that's again, words. What do they really mean? Is he going to still prevent people from going to church during the coronavirus?
Yes.
Then
he's not really that religious.
Then how does he really care about religion?
Everybody says he's a Catholic, and I'm like, he's the worst Catholic I've ever met.
Yeah, they throw that line around like it
matters.
Yeah, but what does that really mean as
what
Catholic?
Does that really?
Like, he went to church during Christmas in 1973.
Yeah, is he actually a Catholic? And even still, Catholics aren't. I mean, I'm not ragging on the Catholics, but they're human beings too that have flaws. So it's like to use
Catholics are humans too.
Well, I mean, to act like Catholics are like the supreme ones and like the end all be all, the know-how about the Bible. It's like, no.
Depending on who we're evaluating as a Catholic, if it's Amy Coney Barrett, Catholic is bad.
Yeah.
If it's Biden, Catholic is good.
Oh yeah, if it's a woman Catholic, it's bad because she believes in having babies. But if it's a Catholic, Biden Catholic, then it's okay to kill babies. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
David says that. He said, don't worry. Don't worry, Biden's for 100% for murdering babies, so he doesn't really care about the church.
That's what I mean. He can say whatever he wants, but it's about what kind of...
still be pro-choice.
what kind of policies are you going to push through?
Yeah.
Let's see. Man, YouTube is trying to censor all of your guys' messages. I have to
Right?
manually show them, which is annoying as hell.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy, all he said, everything Atlas Gaming and more. All he said in his comment was Freemasons or Catholic. That was censored. I had to uncensor that.
Yeah, they don't want you talking about the Freemasons or Catholics.
Freemasons. What was the key word in there that was censored? Freemasons or Catholics?
Probably all of it. Just, we shouldn't be talking about Catholicism or religion or any of that stuff.
I think he meant the social church of the left. There you go. It's a good take on it.
Probably. I don't know.
Probably. Because that is a new church. It's a new religion.
Yeah. Well.
God protect our church. God is equality or egalitarianism. Right?
Yeah.
The church is Black Lives Matter, is Antifa, is there we go.
Yeah, he's protecting those churches for sure.
Yeah.
Those places to gather. Yeah, let's protect
God
those.
Protect that church.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about it. It's this is this weird time we're gonna be in, folks. But we're strapped in, buckled up. Let's do this. I'm ready.
Church of the Woke. That's right.
Church of the Woke.
No, it's true. It really is a new religion. It's a secular religion.
Yeah.
That is as a death cult, in my opinion, because everything that they emphasize is contrary to nature and all things that propel society forward.
Yeah.
So how could it not be a death cult?
Yeah, for real. Critical race theory is the worst religion. Agreed. It is critical race theory is just stupid. It's like just mind numbing. Like it's just for people that want to talk about stuff but don't actually have anything to say.
You want to sound smart.
Yeah, you want to sound smart and you want to sound woke and sound like you care about people, but you're not actually saying anything.
There was actually a study that came out that said the people who are that use more complex words generally actually are less intelligent. Mm-hmm. It's the midwit syndrome, where midwit meaning you're not a dimwit, you're not an absolute retard.
You've got a decent vocabulary, but you're not pulling out these long words that nobody understands.
You're pulling out the long words
and using them incorrectly in context.
You're pulling out the long words. It's the theory behind why all the leftists love to use the word salad when they try to explain things, because they're all dimwits who think that using bigger words in longer sentences and giant word salads means something.
Oh yeah,
but it doesn't.
That's why, like, when I watch the debates or I watch people...
And it was in a study, by the way. It's a study that came out that correlates usage of big words with lower intelligence. Go look it up.
Or they just use a lot of words and they don't say anything.
Yeah.
That's a big thing, too, I noticed on the left. I just see, like, leftists debate people on the right, and they'll give them, like, 2 minutes. And the leftists use up the full 2 minutes and just go on and on and on and don't actually say anything. And the conservative will come in and just... use up 30 seconds, say blah 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 blah. Done.
Concise.
I don't need to have 2 minutes. I got 30 seconds for you.
Concise, laser guided.
And that like makes them melt down. They're like, "What? You had 2 minutes to explain something and you didn't use your full 2 minutes?" Well, duh. Like I don't need 2 minutes. I have up to 2 minutes. That doesn't mean I need the full 2 minutes. It's called like efficiency. If you know what you're talking about, you shouldn't have to go on a long diatribe about things. You should be clear and concise about your points.
If you know a topic, you can describe it easily and succinctly. You don't have to use all these words that you've heard from other people who have tried to explain it to you.
Don't need to use all these made up words too.
And we don't even want to get into how they make up words and change definitions of words.
Yeah.
Even beyond that.
Oh, they do. Well, they want to say like transgenderism is not a mental illness, what it is. I'm like, but it is. You guys are just changing words.
They're not changing the definition of that per se, but it's like the definition of racism, for example.
Oh yeah.
Being on time is racism.
Yeah. Knowing math and proper English is racism. What? I thought racism was just this thing, but now it's turned into this big thing. No, it's not. That's why I agree with Jesse Lee Peterson. It's not a thing. Like, it's not. There's just good and evil. There are people with good intentions and people with bad intentions. It's not racism. It doesn't have to do with your skin color. It has to do with their intention and your intentions. Like, that's all it is.
I don't even think it's good and evil.
I think it is. That's just me.
I think it's either self-interest or you're trying to further your in-group preference, or self-interest.
Yep.
Evil, I don't even know. I'm not sure if evil actually exists or not.
I believe evil exists. Well, I mean, not pure evil, but it's not like even evil. It's just
What's evil? What's something you consider evil?
it's just good
Like if somebody-
intentions
okay,
and
so
bad
let's say
intentions.
somebody-
Let's not say evil, but
Somebody
like
murders
bad.
somebody.
That's evil.
But what if?
If it's self-defense, it's not evil.
But okay, what if I told you that this guy who murdered this guy, he was brought up and he was abused and he had mental illness.
Oh my
and-
God.
which most of them do. It's
I
not,
know.
Like a normal person doesn't just go out and murder somebody. It's always somebody with like mental illness.
Yeah.
So they don't have the same standards as what's acceptable in society.
It
and
doesn't
what's
matter.
Not. That's evil.
That's evil. If you just murder somebody for no reason, and it doesn't matter if you're mentally ill or not. It's just.
So if he was if he was blacked out in a rage blackout and he didn't even know what he was doing.
And he killed somebody.
That's evil?
That's evil, yeah.
Oh, okay. See, I wouldn't classify that as evil.
It's just evil. It's just in the simplest, like, plainest.
Evil would be if you were completely clear of mind and you wanted to.
That's evil too.
Induce suffering
Either way,
on someone.
it's evil.
For no reason.
Either way, it's.
But
just...
how do you want to induce suffering on other people without having mental illness?
Exactly. So it's just evil, like through and through. Like there's just certain things, like I said, it's just a battle between good and evil, and some people have good intentions and good spirit and have the light in them, and then a lot of people just don't. They just see evil all the time.
Anyone that has heard Delaney is evil, come on, Jeremy.
I'm.
Are you okay?
I'm okay.
All right. No evil has been
I
acted
love
upon
it.
you
I love
yet.
all of these people coming to my defense.
So I think right now, with all this stuff happening, there's been some calls for Trump to like declassify stuff as on his way out. David brings up a good point. He says,
should.
What kind of crazy stuff do you want Trump to do on the way out? And like declassified JFK stuff and Area 51 stuff. Like what would you, if it was the last hurrah?
This is my last hurrah.
What would you want him to do? If it was one thing, if he could do one thing.
I want to know about the direct energy weapons. That's my thing.
You're really hooked on the direct energy weapons.
I'm just saying, like, that's some scary stuff, man. Because it can, like, that shit could take down buildings and all kinds of stuff. Like, it's a powerful laser beam. I want to know about the DEWs.
Lasers and nukes already exist.
I know, but I want to know, like, they're, like, kind of secret here.
All right, I'll let you have that one.
I want to know about that.
I would go for the aliens.
Well, we know aliens have visited.
Well,
Obama declassified that stuff.
No, not enough.
Not enough?
No,
not enough for you?
More. No, that was just like the
little teaser,
breadcrumbs to keep people distracted. I want to see the real stuff.
Little foreplay.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a little foreplay. Not gonna lie, for us alien fanatics, I would like to know more. I want to know more about the aliens that the government say they've interacted with, but I kind of don't because I'm worried about it. Because what if these fuckers are like so far advanced? Like
exactly. That's why they don't want to release it because
they're so far advanced, dude.
Then you realize that there's a bigger problem than
just
politics,
humans and politics,
which would actually, I think, it would actually unify us.
Maybe.
What if
Starship
if there was Starship Troopers again? I don't know why we keep referencing that
because they're awesome.
It is an awesome movie, and a book. But the point is, if you have a common enemy, which we haven't had for a while.
Yeah.
We haven't had a common enemy for how many decades?
Decades.
Like
World War
real
II.
threat to us. I'm not talking about like terrorists.
World
who
War
blow
II.
up 50 people a year. Yeah, World War II is a good example.
Yeah, that was a pretty. I mean, Vietnam is arguable, but
and look at how the economy and society skyrocketed after
under
World War II.
unification of going to war with
Under the unification of a common enemy
with Germany
and the
Japan.
results of all the advancement that was necessary to fight off that enemy.
Yep.
Just say there's aliens. Just lie about it. Just say that we're gonna die and like they're scheduled to come here in 10 years.
The Pacific Rim, you know that movie? It's actually happening. It's real. So
exactly.
we have like 10 years to prepare for these aliens that come out of the Pacific Rim, and we got to prepare with giant robots. So let's do it, guys.
Yes.
Love it. This is good. Yeah, it's good stuff.
MA says the line dividing good and evil cuts through the heart of every human being.
It's true. So correct. It's true. But then there's people with black hearts like Jeremy. Who
Being evil is kind of a Jungian thing. Maybe. Yeah, no, I'm definitely, maybe I think about it too much.
Yeah.
That's all.
I think we all think about it way too much. I mean, I kind of do.
HARP, yeah. HARP would be a good one. If you don't, HARP is like the weather modification stuff.
I've heard about that stuff before, yeah.
What if we find out we live in a they live scenario where that's like another race living among us, hidden as human beings. Could be lizard people. Maybe Alex Jones was right the whole time.
Maybe he was interdimensional lizard people that eat babies. I think he's onto something with that. I mean,
Trump already has a space force for that. Yeah, see, maybe he saw something that initiated the need for the space force.
Ooh, that's a good one.
There we go.
That's a real good one.
He saw something in the docket. He was like, "Oh, we need a space force immediately for this."
Probably just saw that China was having a space force, so we need to kind of join them a little bit. Because if China gets ahead of us, that's not good.
Brandon wants to know what our thoughts are on Pattinson's Batman.
Pattinson's Batman. You know that Robert Pattinson's going to be Batman?
I think I don't know. I think it's kind of like it's going towards the feminization of men a little bit, where he's like, but I do like the dark aspect of it, where he's kind of like,
I mean, I'm just honestly kind of tired of Batman.
all emo.
Not going to lie.
That's a good point. How many Batmans do we need?
Exactly. How many freaking Batmans do we need? We had Ben Affleck as a Batman. That wasn't
Christian
good.
Bale's always going to be my Batman.
Christian Bale's a good Batman. I love me some Michael Keaton Batman.
Val Kilmer.
Val Kilmer was pretty good. George Clooney. We're not gonna.
How many Batmans do we need?
We're not gonna talk about George Clooney
you
as
know
Batman.
My opinion on Pattinson's Batman. Why can't we make original movies anymore?
Right. That's my thought too.
That's my opinion.
Like, why can't we come up with something else besides Batman or Superman or, just what we've already done?
Mm-hmm.
Like Aquaman was cool.
Creativity's dead.
Aquaman was cool because it was, something other than Batman or Superman.
Danny DeVito's Penguin.
I thought that was cool too. I love Danny DeVito as Penguin.
That was great.
That was hilarious. That was a good one. That's why I like Michael Keaton. And also too, that one had Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman, and that was pretty cool. I was just like, hell yeah, cat suit, everything. It's dope.
We seem to have sparked quite the conversation in chat about evil.
Yeah.
Good and evil is a viewpoint. It's a moral line in the sand society makes. Can change at any time. Yeah, okay.
It can, but I mean...
And Sir Bader says also that ultimately it's a subjective opinion.
It can be pretty subjective, but I think there are just certain things that are inherently good and inherently evil, and the ones that are subjective, for some people it might be evil, and for some people it might be good. So it can be subjective, but I think there's ultimately just a balance between the good and evil, So...
Well, I think we could have an interesting conversation on this.
Oh yeah.
What give me an example of something you think is objectively evil.
Well, murder, of course, is objectively.
So what if I'm fighting with another guy over an enemy tribe over a deer?
That's not evil.
And I have to kill him.
No, that's not evil.
But it's murder.
It is murder, but it's not. It's still evil. Like, the act is evil because you're taking a life, but you're doing it to
survival.
It is survival, and but that's not gonna might happen in this country. If we go Mad Max over here, we're
2 months away from Mad Max.
We
That's
are
why
kind of
I have to bring this up as an example.
With politics and everything like that, like, we're on the verge of just going straight anarchy where there's not going to be like that divide between good and evil. So
kill is different from murder, says Defiant Politics. So
it's true.
Murder is what though?
Isn't that where you intend on really doing harm to somebody?
Murder means there's no other extenuating circumstances other than, like, I'm trying to survive, or like if I kill an attacker. Yeah.
Well,
murder is just straight up, I want you dead, and then I kill you.
Yeah.
For no other reason
other than
I want you dead.
Whereas like survival killing, it's I'm trying to survive here, whatever. Like, we can get on the whole subjectivity of good and evil, but like I said, there's just
I love objectivity.
Yeah.
I definitely consider myself an objectivist, but it's an interesting conversation. Anyway.
We could go on and on. We could just.
We don't want to slip into the subjective trap of
of what's good and what's evil. It's whatever you want it to be, I guess. Like,
if you just have a good definition, then you can say everything is good or evil.
Yeah, but it's not that. It's not easy to say what's good and evil anymore, especially when something that can be evil will mask itself as good, and something that is good can be masked as evil. So
yeah, if the majority of the population believes that killing babies is a good thing, is it really immoral at that point? Is it evil then?
It's still evil to me.
If most people believe that if like 80% of the people believe that killing babies is just great.
Yeah, it's fine if the baby's not wanted or can't be taken care of.
So if the society sets the standard, then wouldn't they set the standard that it's not evil?
Right? Exactly. So once you say something,
So it's kind of hard.
It is.
It's interesting.
But if enough people say no, it is evil, that's where the subjectivity changes.
But that's the thing. Is it a democratic decision? Like if 51% believe it's not
no,
evil.
it can't be a democratic. It can't be a democratic decision. Otherwise,
so if in our country of 300 million people, if one person still thinks that killing babies is evil, and other 299.99 million think it's not evil, then it's still evil.
Yeah, I think it keeps that alive.
Just for that one person.
Just for that one person, yeah.
Oh. Well.
For that one singular person, yes. That belief is there.
You're falling into the postmodernist trap of subjectivity.
I know, right?
I
know, right? This is why it sucks getting into this stuff.
Well, that's why it's fun. It's a fun conversation.
It is. It's super fun.
If you work it out, you can find out. You can work your way out of it.
Yeah. Let's get out of it.
There are degrees of murder, intentional, etc. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. True. Like, that's why it's just, yeah.
Brainwashing kids is evil.
Yeah, I agree.
Well,
and May is right. You know it when you see it, and I agree. I agree with that. That's the way I see it. It's like you know evil when you see it, and Joe Biden to me just oozed evil. So he just oozed and secreted evil. I can't do it. Come on, man. Come on.
Super international pressure.
Super international pressure.
Hey, look, if you guys are black-pilled about Biden getting elected, just remember we're all gonna get Banana can't care coverage.
Banana can't care?
Banana can't care coverage and super international depression. I'm looking forward to my super international depression, personally.
I'm excited for it too. Let's bring it on.
Yes. And with that, I think we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, I think that sounds good to me. I had fun. Did you have fun?
I liked it. I liked getting out of the sphere of politics for a little bit.
Just for a little bit. We got a little bit back into it, but we got out of it.
Yeah.
The science was cool.
Flew in and out of it like turbulence in an airplane, but you know, it happens.
Like those the weather manipulating machines.
Yeah,
we'll manipulate our own weather.
Our audience has a lot of good, interesting topic ideas, so we'll have to just go free for all one day. Yep. We can talk about HARP and weather manipulation, aliens.
Starbucks is evil. Come on, man. I agree.
Yes.
I don't like Starbucks.
All right, guys. Well, we hope you enjoyed that little segue away from the politics for a couple hours
just
at least.
For a bit. We enjoyed it.
If you liked what you watched, consider hitting the like button, the bell. Check that. If it's checked, make sure you're subscribed. If you want to see more content, we do a couple streams a week.
Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell.
All that good stuff.
Come on, join the live stream.
There you go.
On Weekly
Come
Narrative.
on, man. Bye.
Come on, man. Bye.
Thanks for joining, everyone. We'll see you next time on the Weekly Narrative.
On the Weekly
Don't let yourself
Narrative.
get sucked in too much of this election stuff. Okay, we will be back to talk about that eventually.
Take a break, man. It's good for you.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Banana can't care.
Banana can't care.